Hi, James. It's good to see you again today. You know, today's the day, and this is an awesome day for you, is I get to reveal to you what kind of money, how soon that you can retire and having $36,000. This is going to be awesome, and you're going to owe me big time. Remember last time that I asked you two questions before I left? One being if I had something that you were comfortable with, fit your needs, and met every basis that you had, would you be willing to do something today? And you said yes. Is that still the case? Okay. And then I asked you if I could do that for you. Is there some friends that I could help with so they could get along in retirement too, and maybe go with those cruises with you because they can afford to do so? And you said there would be. All right. We talked about, excuse me, two battles: the battle of taxes and the debt battle of inflation. Um, and we talked about that there were three ways to earn money. One was the banks with the CDs and the money market that made 2 to 5%, where you couldn't lose principal or interest. Okay? The second one was the stock market, where you could get lots of return, but this is mutual funds, stuff like this, stocks. And the thing about this, the interest rate goes up and down and up and down and up and down, so your money isn't very secure. Then we had the third one called index strategy. And this one, I recall, you liked the best. All right. It has paid 10% over the last 25 years, and there's no loss of principal and no loss of interest. And you like this one. All right, I showed you a graph last time, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. All right, you have $10,000 in the index strategy. It grows at 10%, so here you're at 11. Another 10%, you're at 12.1. All right, after the second year, if you were in the market, it tanked 20%, and you are now 6. All right, then it tanked 17%, and you're at 7.9. All right, then it corrects itself. This is the S index strategy. It comes back 15%, but you're only going to get 12, and you're going to be at 13.5. And here, it's going to come back to about $9,000. Now, the $1 million question is whether you like the 9,000 or the 13.5. It's going to take a good 70% to bring it back here. You know, with this increase, you're not even back to where you started, and you've wasted 5 years. Okay? So, even if it went up again, have to go in an awful lot to make up the difference. All right, we had a client that came in, and he had $500,000, and he thought by the time he was 65 he could raise that to $1 million. Well, he was in the stock market, and after 3 or 4 years in the stock market, he had, can you guess, $309,000. He's going in the wrong direction. So we put him in one of these, and he's on track to make that $1 million before he's 65. And that's where we want you to be. You can't lose like this if you go into the income strategy. All right. Now we've talked about We've talked about inflation. Let's talk about taxes. Now, there are also 3 ways that we are taxed. We are taxed, deferred taxes, and advantage taxes. All right, you have $10,000 in a mutual fund. You get 10% interest. You're taxed at 35%. So you have $6,500 left. So you really didn't make 10% here, did you? You only made 6.5%. All right. And tax deferred, you have the 401ks, 403bs, the IRAs. Let's see, what else do you have? Your SEPs and all those. All right. These figures here are just laws. They're not the vehicles that make you money. All right. When doing this, I tell you the upsides and the downsides. The upside, this can make better interest rate, but it could also lose more money. You can't draw this money out until you're at least 59 and a half without paying a 10% penalty. The trouble with this one, these are governed by the IRS. So this could be 79 and a half by the time you get ready to retire, because they can change it. Do you think taxes will be going up? I think so. We owe $1 trillion in debt. Somebody has to pay that. So those also go into this. So if you had, say, $100 million here, and you waited till afterwards, let's say you made 10%, so you got $10,000. You still have all you have left is $6,500. The good thing about this is the employer match, and we suggest that you only put in as much as this employer matches. In some of these things, you can only put $4,000 or $5,000 in a year. Well, that isn't going to add up too fast, is it? Tax advantages is like your Roth IRAs, your whole life, your variable life, and your universal index strategy. All right. On the Roth IRA, if you take it out before you're 59, you got a 10% penalty. You can only put so much in a year. In your whole life, there's no tax and no interest as long as it's a loan. I mean, no taxes on it. But it only makes 2 to 3%. It meets the tax battle, but not the inflation. Variable life was very popular in the 90s, but it only makes 3 to 4%. Meets the tax battle, but it doesn't meet the inflation battle. Then you have universal life that can make up to 12%, guaranteed principal and interest, and there's no tax. So where do you think you'd want your money? Is there more than one? Yeah, there could be. This would be for your long-term savings. If you had a 401k, I would do it up to employer matches because that's free money. And over here for the tax, that's where I would put my money market for my emergency fund. So you could use all 3. You just have to be careful that you're not overtaxed by it. let's see. We had a man that we knew of a man that bucked off his horse, broke his back, sat in the hospital for 6 months, borrowed money from his 401k of $10,000, paid $4,500. No, yeah, paid $6,500 in taxes, and got $4,500. Not a good deal. Not a good deal. So with this account, you could be able to borrow from it as long as it's a loan, and still have your death benefit there. All right. Now, the company that I usually work with and have my money with is Aviva. They're one of the world's largest insurance company. They have 50% of the universal life market, and they've been around for hundreds of years, insuring the Boston Tea Party and the Titanic. Now, there's a big gotcha here. And the gotcha is this, that in order to do this, you have to qualify. You have to be healthy. They didn't get their their A Standard & Poor rating just by letting everybody in. So everybody has to qualify. You have to be healthy. I have no guarantees whether you'll get this or not, but we'll go back and try. Then, if you're turned down by them, we have other insurance companies, not quite as great as this, but I'll come and introduce you to something else and to get you covered for your family. And but first of all, let me ask you a few questions. Have you been in the hospital recently? No? Are you taking any medications? All right. When Aviva checks your history, they're not interested in your credit history. They're interested in your medical insurance bureau, where they record everything that's ever happened. And when we fill out this application, they should concur. Yeah, we understand if you forgot. I've been in the hospital several times, and sometimes I forget that I went in there for diverticulitis and the surgery, but now that's been more than 10 years ago, so I shouldn't have to report it. But seems like I'm forgetting something. But when you're 85 and you're just getting out of the hospital and the doctor says you have cancer, you paid in $180,000. You haven't drawn out for 20 years. You pulled out $1 million, and when you die, you have $472,000 for your family. Are you going to be happy with me then? You call me up and make sure that everything's in order, and I says, you've really done a good job. You've only put $80,000 in. You pulled out $2.3 million, and you still have $470,000 life insurance policy for your family. So, you're going to die. You've not left your family high and dry. They have money to pay off your bills, your funeral, and still have money left over to share. So this is a wonderful opportunity. And by then, you'll owe me more than chocolate chip cookies. Kidding. All right, so we have to fill out an application. And what we do is we start on the medical side on the 3rd page. And I ask you all these questions, yes or no answers. And then we have a nurse that will come out and take your blood pressure. And I'll call her, and you can set up an appointment before I leave here today. So don't let me forget to do that, okay? We're going to set that up. All right. So we go through this. I want you to okay the that they can look at the insurance bureau, the medical bureau, and all this. If you give me money today, I'll have you okay the money that I put down, and we'll sign a draft. All right, and then I'm going to give you reading to do. I don't know if I have copies here, but you know, I'm going to give you some nice colorful copies that you can go through on Sunday and read and find out all about that. Okay, so as we go through here, I need to collect from you the first month's premium, then a check made out to Vicki Hull for $10,208, and I'm just kidding, and then a voided check if we're running that through the bank. You sign the ATF form, draft form, to take that out of your bank, and then you need to write me a check for $5,208. Okay. All right. Then, in a couple days, I want to meet back to you because everybody has lots of questions in a couple days. We'll just meet back. I'll answer whatever questions that we have, and I'll keep you abreast of anything going on. If they say, all right, they need this, I'm going to call you and say, hey, they need this for you to finish that up. I don't have all the paperwork here today, I see, so I might have to have you sign another piece of paper or two when I come back. Thank you for doing business with me. Bye.